Good morning, everybody. You know, I try to set this for 11 a.m., but it kept going to 11:51 a.m. Then it went to 11. They got to change the way they had that clock there because if you want to set it at 10:30, you can't do it. I don't understand. Let's wait for some people to get in here, folks, and get this show rolling. It's a beautiful day today. I took my walk. There is love from the Philippines. Good morning. And welcome. Hello, CJ. You know, you read, I'm sure everybody's read the letter where Judge Submarinian, all right, denied bail and all the reasons why he denied bail. And I was correct. I don't like to brag, but I was correct on this one, all right, because there's violence here. I read everybody the Mann Act before. I made them understand how it works. People out there are saying the Mann Act is like a no-burger charge. It's not. If it was a no-burger charge, why would it have possible sentence of 10 years on each count? And I try to figure that one out. Now, this morning I spoke with a former prison guard, who I interviewed before. You all can see it. It's on my YouTube channel here. Okay? We did a live show about where Diddy is and was Diddy really threatened. Now, let me explain, and I want to give another message to Diddy. I keep telling him, I don't think he's listening. Get rid of your lawyers. Or maybe your lawyers are listening to you, Diddy, and they should get rid of you. Because that was the dumbest thing in the world to have Gina write a letter. You can see the judge paid no attention to that at all, okay? But it's the violence. And it was his lawyers. The judge just throws it right back. That his lawyers said he was violent. And you got violence on your record, you're not going to get bail. San Francisco, my old hometown, how are you? So anyways, let me explain where Diddy is in. Now, I was in general population. I was at MDC. Now, I was in what they call a newer building, but it's old as hell, okay? And I was in a cell. Now, there's cells all the way around. You got the first tier, the second tier, over 120 inmates, okay? I never had a problem. Now, where Diddy is, it's called a special housing unit. But it's not the type of special housing unit where, like Jeffrey Epstein was in, where he was the only one in his cell. This one, there are 20 inmates. Folks, that's not a lot of inmates, okay? 20, okay? So they're high-level inmates. You got Sam Bankman, the crypto king. You got Mangione, the guy that murdered the guy from the health insurance company. Okay, you have people like that. And you might have a few guys from the gangs or ex-gang members or informants, that type of people. Now, I was told, I don't know how true it is, but I could believe it, that Diddy was paying the commissary for unit, all right, which is like $350 a month each that they could spend. So it's like 35. So he's spending maybe $7,000 a month, which is chump change to Diddy. Right now it's chump change. The day might come, that's going to be a lot of money for him, okay? Because His money is dwindling, and it's dwindling quickly, okay? But leave Diddy alone. Look at Mike, if you're anybody at all, you can get a message to Diddy, all right? Tell him that I said he better get a new legal team, okay? Salerno, Italy, how are you? All right? I'm 80 years old, Troy, okay? 80 years young I am, folks, and I feel like $1 million. Anybody want to come at me? Come on. These tough guys over here, okay? Okay? So anyways, folks, only 20 people in the unit. And maybe he did get threatened. Maybe he stopped paying somebody's commissary. There was no big deal. Folks, that's such a small unit. There's nothing happening in there, okay? But Diddy better change his mindset. Because the guys, look at MDC is what's called the detention center. It's old, it's dilapidated. People want to say he's eating maggots. He's not eating maggots. Cut the shit, okay? All right, people come up and give you false information, okay? You think even inmates are eating maggots? No. Are there cockroaches there? Yeah, there are. I seen cockroach. I'd be sitting at the table. I see cockroach going over somebody's food. They throw it off and still eat it, okay? You're not going to die from it, okay? Prison is not, not a trip to go to Waikiki Beach and enjoy yourself. Prison is prison. Now, once Diddy is sentenced, then, for sure he's going to appeal. So he's going to be at MDC for some time. I predict maybe another year and a half there. I predict he's going to get 10 to 15 years. And why do I say that? Folks, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And please give me a like. Now, I'm going to be changing my settings soon, that the only people that can leave me a message are the people who subscribe. Okay? So if you're not subscribed, you're not going to be able to leave a channel. You're not going to be able to leave a comment. Now, folks, don't be ashamed to hit that thanks button. Okay? I ask you this all the time. Some of you are really great. Hit that thanks button. And for those of you who want to help me and you don't know how to hit that thanks button, you can go to my profile. It'll bring you to my CashApp, my Venmo, okay? And you can send me money in that way, all right? So who's going to be the first to send me a thanks today, okay? Who's going to be there? Come on, all right? So anyways, folks, so Diddy it's like a cushy place that he's in, but it's still a jail, okay? Now, once he gets sentenced, and after his appeals, which I'm sure his appeals will be turned down because Judge Submaranian, from what I see, has not done anything wrong, and Diddy don't have much of an appeal issue, okay? And a lot because, he commended the judge, he commended the people at MDC, and now he wants to cry the blues about it, okay? Folks, inmates have been crying the blues about being at MDC. They were before I was there, okay? Long before I was there. Yeah, it's not a good place. You don't get to go outside. You don't see the sun, okay? You're confined. That's what prison is. Now, my mindset changed the day that I got arrested. They put the cuffs on me. They brought me downtown to MDC, Los Angeles first, where I had a hearing that day, and I was denied bail. Boom, right there. So I said, extradite me, and they extradited me on Con Air to Brooklyn, New York, where I was at MDC. Let me tell you a funny story about that day. I'll never forget it. You all saw the movie Con Air with Nicolas Cage? I'll tell you, Con Air is um, something else, really. It's a lot like you see in the movies, okay? But once you get to MDC Brooklyn, the first place they bring you, it's over on it was on the fourth floor, is the medical unit. You spend a night and a day there, all right, and you get checked out by the doctors, okay? And you're only allowed out of your cell when it's time to eat. So the first night we were there, it was raining like hell, number one. All right, and cell doors open up. We go out to get our food, and they got the TVs on the wall. And I look up at the TV. Here, you got to fix. I just got off Con Air. I just got brought to MDC Brooklyn. I look up, and guess what movie is showing? Con Air. I mean, is that something else or what? Okay, I wanted to share that story with you. I think it's kind of funny. Okay? Huh? Folks, I'm sorry. I'm looking for a moderator, as you know. Okay, and I told you anybody wants to be a moderator, please send email to the Accidental Gangster at Gmail. Okay, and we will. My son will check out your YouTube so we know you're real. Okay, and all that stuff. And you know what's going on today, folks? Everybody must be broke. Nobody's sending me any thanks here. Okay? Thank you, also. So, anyways, once Diddy appeals are lost and he gets sent to a prison someplace, and more than likely, I think he'll be sent to a medium prison, not a USP, okay, and not a camp, okay? All right? So once he gets there, it's a different story, folks. Diddy is a woman beater. P. Diddy. You know what the P stands for? It stands for Punk Diddy. That's what the P stands for in his name. Yes, I am a retired gangster, okay? But that's what the P stands for, Punk Diddy. And I don't want to give a message to anybody here that does know Diddy, or you Diddy and you claim to know him and you're so close friend. Tell him to change his mindset, okay? He's got to learn to adapt, okay? It's just the way it is, folks. It's unfortunate, okay? But, you know, right now, if I were Diddy, I'd be worrying about the same thing that he's worried about. He's worried about losing his money. He's got all these civil cases going. He's going to win some, but he's going to lose most. There you go, CJ. Thank you for that $9.99. I appreciate CJ. CJ began it off here today. God bless you, my friend. All my love and respect to CJ. I appreciate that sincerely. Okay? Anybody else? All right? Let's get me up there, all right? Let me make a few bucks. But then it's a different story. Diddy could possibly have some problems when he gets to prison. He's going to be paying people to protect him. There's no question about that there, okay? Because you're going to need protection because of the fact that even inmates, they do not like men who beat women. So that's a problem that he's going to have. So he better change his mindset, adapt to the fact that he's in prison, all right? And you got to do your time. Do your time like a man. Keep your mouth shut, okay? And you'll be all right. So if there's anybody there really knows Diddy, like these guys come out here and claim and want to protect him, okay? then get the message to Diddy, okay, of what I'm telling him. All right? He got the worst legal defense team that I've ever seen. They're lucky that Maureen Comey was a dummy in the way she wrote that indictment, because she would have charged him for gun charges, if she would have charged him for drug charges, if she would have charged him for bribery. If they were all separate acts instead of the RICO, he would have been found guilty of them all. Andrew, email me and I'll try to help you with that question. Andrew Martinez. Okay? So, folks, it's a great room here. It looks like we got 179 people in here. Is that correct? Okay? Folks, if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do. Okay? And for those of you giving me these thanks, send me a few dollars. Believe me, I appreciate it. It goes to good use. Because look, I am an older man. Okay? And I can't read things off my computer like a lot of you could and like other people, creators could. So I have to print everything out. And let me just show you. See all this here? All right? I print stuff on a daily basis. I had to increase, I got to deal with Hewlett Packard. I had to increase my monthly thing. So everything cost me money. Okay? How many guys here like woman beaters? I bet none of you do. Okay? You know that taser, everybody asked me about that painting. I'm going to show you something, folks. I got no problem showing you my home. Okay? This here is an Antoine Blanchard portrait. All right? That's in French. And then over there, that's another Antoine Blanchard. But those are only replicas. I'm going to be honest with you. A friend of mine was in the art business, and he gave them to me years ago. This is the one. This picture right there. Can you see that? Let's see. All right. That one is worth a few $1,000s. And I got that as part of a package when I did somebody a favor where somebody owed them a lot of money, and I was helping them out with it. Nancy Flowers, again, God bless Nancy Flowers, okay? Nancy Flowers always comes through, okay? $4.99. Nancy, I love you, kid. How are you? How you doing today? I hope everything's going great for you. Okay, that's good. Question asked, why is there dollar and cent? All right, that's what it means, dollar and cents, okay? You have to figure it out, all right? But that is a real painting from a real artist, and one of a kind. From what I was told, okay? So, folks, Trump will never pardon Diddy. Remember something. The new U.S. Attorney in charge of the Southern District of New York is J. Clayton, appointed by Donald J. Trump, our president. I checked this guy out. He's not somebody to mess with. He's very intelligent, very well known, done a lot of great things, okay? I cannot see how, in this world, that Diddy is not being investigated for more serious things, and I think more serious things are going to be coming to him. His lawyers were elated when they came out and beat that RICO charge. They had no reason to be elated and start going bragging, okay? Especially Mark Garold. And Mark, I come after you all the time. You know why? Because you keep feeding your friend Levin at TMZ false information. You're the one leaking information from the court, Mark Garold. You're the one that's responsible. And if anybody here knows Mark, let them know what I'm saying here. Okay? Because I don't give a shit. Okay? This guy thinks he's so cute. All right? His daughter's a better lawyer than he ever thought about being. Yeah, TMZ, I'm finished with them, folks. A lot of people told me they are too. Their ratings are going down. Their viewership is going down. They used to be a great show. I used to love it. They had great content. You know, there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, you heard that there. You know, folks, I want to tell you a little bit how I operated and how I operate all my life. When I read things, like when I read what the judge says here, I read between the lines. When people talk, I read between the lines of what, so I want to know what they're really saying, not the words coming out of their lips. What do they really mean? Okay? And that's the way I done. I learned that so long ago, I can't remember when. Okay? But read between the lines of what's really happening. This judge knows more. Donald Trump knows more. That's why Donald Trump was able to say he would not pardon Diddy. He knows more than we do because it's his man that's in charge now and not Maureen Comey, who messed everything up, even on the Epstein thing, okay? There's all this scuttle going all over social media about, you know, the documents that were missing. That's all Maureen Comey. She's the one that made them missing. And the only thing she wanted on this Diddy thing was his videos. Mr. Reddy, he was found not guilty of what? He's in prison. Don't you understand that? All right? These people want to come out and defend it and say he was found not guilty. They don't understand the law. I try to come here, explain it in the simplest terms, and these people don't understand. Okay? You want to know what family I was affiliated with? It's all here in my book. Everything you want to know about me is here in my book, The Accidental Gangster, From Insurance Salesman to Hollywood Fixture. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google, and all places they sell fine books. Okay? The Accidental Gangster. If you haven't read it, that's how you learn, folks. You want to know who I am? Buy my book. Google my name. You know who I am. So, folks, have you subscribed to my channel? I'm going to ask you again. Okay? If not, please subscribe because I'm changing my settings. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, you're not going to be allowed to leave a comment. Okay? I'm going to be, folks, once this thing with Diddy is over, all right, my son, Anthony, God bless this kid, he's the best. Nobody could ask for a better son, okay? He has helped me like you can't believe, been there for me every minute of the day, and, you know, he's put together, we're going to be talking about gangster stuff. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story you never heard. All right, forget those stories from Michael Franche and Sammy Gravano. Okay, you haven't heard what the fuck I got yet. Island there again. Island $1.99. Everybody give Island a clap. Thank you. Everybody give these folks who are generous enough to help me out here a little bit and hitting that thanks button. All right? Hitting that thanks button. If you don't think I appreciate it, you're wrong. I deeply appreciate it. All right? I'm going to tell you stories about Sammy. I'll tell you a lot of stories. All right? And that's coming. I'm putting it all together. Okay? Did I meet Lucky Luciano? How old do you think I am? 150? I'm 80. Okay? No, I didn't meet Lucky Luciano. I met Frank Costello. He's in my book. Okay? So you all know who he is, Frank Costello. You know who Carlo Marcello is? Boston, New Orleans? I knew Carlo Marcello. You know Russell Buffalino? What De Niro played in The Irishman? Well, guess who knew him in person? I did. Okay? Yeah, folks, so get that book. You want to read these stories. I met these people in the flesh and blood. Sat down with them, had dinner with them, had lunch with them, drinks with them, all that stuff. Okay? You folks, you study your history. You want to know about somebody like me? All you got to do is, boom, go to Google and it's all there. Okay? But you get my book. You notice my book has been $29.95 since the first day it came out to now, and it's not changing. And the price has never been lowered, and it's not going to get lower. It might go up, folks. So get it now. Folks, I've done a lot of fiction in my life for a lot of people in Hollywood, the studios, agents, lawyers, all these kinds of people, actors and actresses. I've done a lot of things. So, folks, I want to thank you all for coming here today, and I appreciate it as usual. Okay, I'm going to be back tomorrow with more information on other things. I'm reading some of the comments here. I get a kick out of what some people say. You know, folks, one thing about me, I don't block people. You want to leave something nasty? Go ahead. But, you know, don't think that I delete anything because I don't, okay? The people who delete it is YouTube. If you're not following the community guidelines, all right, they're not going to post your comment. So don't blame me for that there, okay? Because I'll take any heat anybody wants to bring me. I've been there, done it, okay? So everybody, I want you to know that there. I love you all, as usual. All my love and respect to each and every one of you. And I especially thank to you people, all right, who think so much that you hit that thanks button, and it really helps me out. I want you to know I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope this has helped you understand how Diddy's living in prison, where he really is in prison, okay, and what's really going on, okay? Take care. Have a blessed day.